This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glenn Lavender.
Hi, and welcome to episode 496 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and joining me via Skype, something, from Melbourne, once again from creativephotoworkshops.com.au, it is Mr. Glenn Lavender. How are you?
I'm here to make the magic happen, Bruce.
Thank God somebody is.
I'm not very good at magic, though, Bruce.
Right.
A little warning.
Right, okay. What was it you said last week? Forewarned is forearmed or something? Forearmed is forewarned?
Let's see my forearms out of this. Yeah. And I've only got two.
Dear, oh dear.
I can make a chocolate cake disappear. I can make a can of Coke disappear. Not the can, just the Coke.
Just the contents thereof.
They reappear in other forms. Yeah, I can turn a chocolate cake into a... Anyway.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, no, we were just discussing off-air, folks, for those who aren't in on our... hilarious joke there. That I think neither Bruce or either of us could be fagged tonight.
I've got nothing.
We've got bugger all to talk about.
I got nothing.
We've got bugger all to talk about. I've had 2 weeks from hell this week. And
right.
I said, but we'll make the magic happen.
That's it.
So here it is.
That's it. Why have you had 2 weeks from hell this week?
Oh, depression. Dude.
Oh, okay.
Mentally just been real hard. Oops. It's been quite difficult.
Right. Fair enough.
Quite difficult. Yeah. Just struggled a bit, but I'm okay. I'll be right. And, I don't hear voices yet.
Are you anywhere near to being able to run courses again?
Well, we're closing down again, Bruce.
Oh, really?
So our state has reversed. Was just about to open up to more ease of restrictions Monday, and then now they're closing down. Go back to December's conditions.
Why?
We had a case.
One.
So one in the entire country. This is for those listening overseas. So Australia's the size of the United States in mass.
Yes.
All right. We have a few cases in the country of COVID, in case people don't know what we're talking about, from overseas people. People coming in from overseas, and they're all in hotel quarantine.
Yeah.
But one of the hotel workers, even through all the PPE and everything and all the controls, caught it.
Right.
And it hasn't, and they haven't necessarily know if they're controlled, and they think it might be the English strain, which is the really nasty one.
Right.
And there's even thoughts that could have gone all up into New South Wales, up to your state as well. And so rapidly, and he has out for like 5 or 6 days going. I don't know. These people have some lives, I tell you.
Yeah.
If I was at a hotel and get this quarantine, they'd come and say, "Contact trace, where you been? Lounge room, bathroom, kitchen, repeats."
Yeah.
These people have been 27 different places a day.
Yeah.
They go to stores, they go to cafes. There's just one person who's been to the hardware store. He's gone up the country for a drive. He's gone. People have a life. It's it shouldn't be allowed. The only people who should be allowed to have jobs working in this, people like myself who A, haven't got an income, and B, haven't got a life.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I'll drive to work. I'll come in, I'll do my job, then I'll just come home again. And that's it. Yeah. Oh, do you do that for a month, sir? A month? Well, I have to limit it. So you tell me I've got to cut back. I don't understand. So yes, a case of COVID.
Right.
And I'm going to say that again. So our country is the size of the United States, and we have one
as in the upper 48. Just to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have one case in the entire country of locally transmitted coronavirus.
Yeah.
Which is quite astounding when you think about it.
Yep.
Now, speaking of disease,
yeah,
my sister said to me that day, so every year I get it, and you probably know this, I get a really bad cold, and I cough and splutter for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yep.
You know this, the edit the damn podcast.
Yeah.
That's the cough, anyway. My sister said to me, she goes, "How have you gone with your health this 2020?" And I go, "How do you mean?" She goes, your bad cold you get every year. Did you have it this year? I said, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
There's all the staying indoors and not contacting other people.
Yeah.
I didn't get me nasty, which I thought was really
Who'd have thought?
very observant of her. Very observant of myself, I have to say.
Yeah, because I made the same comment to Kath, probably around about September, October. I said, you know what, I don't think I had a cold this winter. And she said, well, this is what happens when people are sick and they actually stay home and they actually wash their hands and they actually socially distance and stay away from people, then we reduce the ability for it to spread. I was like, what do you know?
So, speaking of that, there's this big thing going on that the virus doesn't travel, doesn't move, people move it. Right?
That's it.
But this virus in the Australian quarantine hotel, there was one room that had a family of 5. They all had it.
Right.
And they said the virus was so strong, there was so much virus in that room, that when they opened the door to bring the food in, it just floated out in the air. And that's how this guy caught it.
Right.
Just not from any contact, not just from simply the air that these people are living in, got out into the air where other people are.
Yeah.
Which is quite amazing,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fascinating how the world works,
Yeah. And I was reading comments by an epidemiologist today, and he was saying, we're never going to get rid of this until all countries take an active role in really trying to clamp down on this. It's the countries that have let it run rampant, like the UK and the US, that preventing it from ever getting under control, because the more the virus has a chance to replicate, then the quicker it will mutate, and the quicker it mutates, the quicker it renders our vaccines useless. Yeah. And so, unless every country makes a concerted effort to really clamp down on it, then we're never going to be rid of it, because it'll just keep mutating and the vaccine will become pointless. It's like,
it'll
good.
Change so much.
Oh, joy.
Happens, it's just not going to happen.
No. So anyway, what else have you been up to this week?
What's about your week? Did you have a week?
Well, I actually got the camera out this week.
Yeah. Wait. What? First, we have to ask what prompted this.
Rain.
Oh, yeah, we've had a lot of rain. We've had a lot of rain this week.
We have had buckets of rain. It started like, I don't know, 3 weeks before Christmas, and it hasn't stopped since. We've had, maybe 1.5 weeks of really nice weather since 2 weeks before Christmas. The rest of the time it's been raining. And we've been living here for 10 years, or it'll be 10 years in April. And on the way from West Gosford up to the freeway, which is the way I go to head to work every day, there is this little waterfall that it doesn't run all of the time. But when you've had a
You know what you need?
What's that?
You need a lot of rain.
We do. Turns out we've had some.
That could happen. Really?
So
we've had some too. Was it the same?
Probably. Yeah, so, when we get a decent downpour of rain, this little waterfall will generally run for maybe 4 or 5 days before it slows down to a trickle and then dries up again. And I've been saying to Kath for, God knows how long, I really must go and shoot that waterfall one day, just because it's there and I've never shot it, So because it was running this week, I thought, okay, stuff it, I'm going to go and do it. So one night after dinner, I grabbed the camera and headed off down there and, took a 31-minute exposure, which was complete and utter overkill.
31 minutes?
Yes.
31 minutes?
Yeah.
Of a waterfall?
Of a waterfall.
Did you do a 1-minute test exposure first to see if it didn't look any good?
No, I did not.
Jesus sakes. Okay, tip the young photographers out there. You get to a scene. How long an exposure do you think I might need? I don't know. Let's start with 1, go to 2, then 5, then 10, and work our way up from there. You don't go straight to 31. Why 31? Did you say go and order pizza or something?
Sorry, I lie. I did take a test shot before I put the 6-stop filter on there. Hey,
31-minute test shot.
No. So I did a test shot that was, I don't know, round about I think what I did was I chose my ISO, chose my aperture, looked at the shutter speed that I was going to need, which was like 1 minute or 2 minutes or something. And then I threw a 6-stop filter on the front, and then that blew it out to 31 minutes. And so I just looked at the stopwatch and went, okay, whatever. And so I did a 31-minute exposure.
You think you may have overdone it just a touch.
Just a touch.
More importantly, that the water flowed further and faster and longer in that 31 minutes.
It did.
Could you see the difference, maybe from a minute long exposure?
No, probably none. except for maybe the increased noise. Which was why when I ended up posting it on social media, I made it black and white. Because the noise was horrendous.
You might not have made my day, but you made my whole week. That's something. Oh my god, that's hilarious, Bruce.
I know.
Gold. Golden.
I don't know.
One generation chance where this waterfall flows. Let's see. I'd like to emulate what a 2000 digital camera would look like doing this photograph.
Yeah.
So I'll make it really noisy, crappy.
Yeah. So anyway,
you should do a dark take on how not to shoot waterfall.
Absolutely.
Noisy waterfall shot. That's hilarious.
So, yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah. Yep. But I was happy. I was just, quite happy sitting there listening to the waterfall and just waiting.
How many different angles you could have done in that 30?
I know. And so when I got there,
my photos are taking too long.
When I got there, it was probably 8 o'clock in the evening. So it was sort of, the last, maybe half hour of daylight. So by the time I finished shooting, it was pretty well black.
It was dawn.
Yeah, it's just about.
Oh, that's not just exposure done. Oh, damn, now it's daylight.
But it has made me think that I really should go and have another look at it during daylight hours, because it looked like a nice little spot.
With maybe a different filter and different settings.
Yeah, maybe.
You haven't played it for so long, Bruce. You've only
that's right.
Use that time a bit more wisely.
Yes.
But I would say it was a nice picture of a lovely little waterfall.
Thank you.
Bright, all I saw was thumbnail size on Facebook in black and white. Yeah. So I can't pick the daylights out of how bad it must look in real life. I took some photos this week.
Yeah, what of?
I took a photo of a bug that I'd not seen before on a yellow flower.
Oh, okay. What kind of bug?
One I hadn't seen before.
Right. Okay.
Did you want more details?
Yeah.
It was a brown bug I hadn't seen before.
Oh, okay. Right.
Want more details?
Yes.
It was a brown bug with black spots that I hadn't seen before.
Right.
How short on content this week, remember? Yeah. Got more details. There's a brown bug with black spots and a shiny, glossy wing casing.
Right.
And it's about the size of half of my thumb, which doesn't help because not many people here know the size of my thumb.
No, they do not.
That would be like an average man's thumb, possibly a little on the slim side.
Right.
Which if it is, it's not the only part of my whole body that is, funnily enough. But yeah, so it was like 2 centimeters by 1 3/4 centimeters,
Right.
maybe 2.5, maybe 2.5 by 1 3/4.
And where was this bug?
On a yellow flowered tree, like a tree with these little tiny yellow flowers on it,
Oh, okay.
and surrounded by bees.
Right. Cool.
Bees. So the photos of the bees too. I was out location scouting
We love bees.
for my project.
We love bees.
Bees. But I actually got a photo with my iPhone, right, of a bee holding this tiny little flower's pollen with its claws, with its feet. He's holding it and bringing it to his mouth and chewing on it.
Yeah, right.
We were eating a meat pie or like a hamburger. You know, it's got its hand like that and putting it into its mouth with an iPhone.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty amazing. So I was out location scouting.
Yep.
And I was having a tough week. I was sitting at home. I was just going absolutely stir crazy. So I thought, well, I'll go and I'll do something proactive. So I went for this big drive out. There's a beautiful day, and I found this old abandoned bridge, which looked pretty cool. So I span around, parked closest to it, and as I walked up to it, it was surrounded by blackberries or blackberry bushes.
Right.
And all the blackberry bushes had beautiful, fresh, ripe blackberries on them.
Oh, lovely.
I mean, I was just gorged myself. That made me in the sunshine, out in the middle of nowhere, chomping on blackberries. I actually started feeling pretty good for a little while there. And this bridge is pretty cool. It's been abandoned. I don't know. It's probably like 20 or 30 years, but it's an old bridge as well. It's like an old sandstone bridge. So that was pretty cool. And this tree was growing out of the bridge, and these bugs and these bees and ladybugs. There were ladybugs on there as well. All over this tree that was growing in the middle of a bridge.
Wow.
It wasn't growing in the middle of the bridge in a nice way.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't artistically growing in a pleasing, flattering. It wasn't like having like the Wanaka tree. You know the Wanaka tree?
Yes, I do.
Wanaka tree in the middle of the bridge would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Or like an apple tree. An apple tree would have been good.
Yeah.
Nicely shaped one. It wasn't like that. It was just a mess of bush. Like so much of Australia's scrubby trees are. But that was nice. That's a cool location. I think I might be able to do something, if not for this project, but at some stage, I might take old kiddo out and shoot her on the bridge and, as the sun sets, something like that. It was pretty cool. So I was out location scouting. I sort of hunted around, took a few photos of potential locations. None of them, I would say, if I added up all the photos I got together, I probably took, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 photos that day.
Right.
I still think they would add up to 31 minutes, Bruce. Thinking about it, yeah. In fact, I think we pushed hard to go, I don't know, maybe 1 minute.
So what you're saying is I put in more effort this week than you did. That's really what you're saying.
I put 40 times the effort in as you did, with 1,000 times more efficiency. I didn't actually do the maths because it was just sprung on me, but it was pretty darn decent efficiency. I'll give you that. So I was out doing that today. That was this week, I should say. It's one thing I've been doing. There was something else. I bought a gimbal.
Oh, right.
I bought a DJI Osmo Mobile 3 gimbal for my phone.
Oh, okay, cool. So you can do like little walkie selfie videos.
So selfie you can do like facing forwards as you walk, and the scene that's in front of you, not necessarily pointing at you. Because this project I'm doing for Tamron Japan next month, actually it's this month now, isn't it? It's February.
It's February.
I think they're being shipped. Hoping the goods are being shipped tonight. I've got to have a video guy with me filming some stuff, but the problem in the last couple of ones I've done for them, the budget only allows for a video guy to be there 1, maybe 2 days at most.
Yeah,
and I'm shooting 15, 20 days of shooting. Yeah. So when it comes to doing the video at the end, it's so disjointed because the images you've got aren't anything. So what I thought I could do, if I get a gimbal and shoot some decent quality, even just short little bits of footage on my phone, I can give it to the video guy for him to include.
Yeah. Yep.
But hopefully they'll sort of flesh out. And it was $40 off, so it was down to only $129 delivered.
Nice.
Which was a gimbal, a tripod, beautiful case for it, the whole stuff. It was a bit of a bargain.
Sweet.
So I was rather pleased with that. So that's a DJI one and built incredibly well.
Yep.
And I did one other thing this week. I joined Clubhouse.
What is Clubhouse?
So last week, Bruce, you really are. So Clubhouse is the latest and greatest social media startup, but at the moment it's only by invitation only. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's completely different in that it's not photo, it's not video, it's not text. It's basically just live chat rooms.
Oh, okay.
Like people sitting around talking around the Clubhouse, hence the name, I think. So as an example, today I've been watching and listening, not watching, yet listening to a bunch of different photography-related ones. And everyone can be involved. To be involved in the chat. You can talk and be part of it, or you can just simply sit and listen. So one of them does listen to people discussing each other's Instagram pages and what they liked and what they disliked, and giving them tips on what they did to improve theirs or whatever.
Yep.
So that was pretty. Yeah. After the first 20 or 30 people saying the same stuff, like, oh, you guys are all awesome. I love, your page is fantastic. I love you. I love your use of colour. And then they'd go the typical, compared to you guys' work, this is nothing, and all the humble brag.
Yeah.
But Clubhouse is this thing, and it's all sorts of topics. It's not just photography, or there's video ones, there's movies, there's relationships, there's stock market, there's Bitcoin, there's all kinds of, you can start a topic on anything you want, basically.
Right.
You start the room, start talking and hope someone shows up. Or you can invite people to. But I thought it could be a good thing for you to do on Darktable.
Oh, okay.
If there's a reasonable amount of photographers on there, and I think it's only going to build with photographers and or creative content type people, and a lot of them are, some are very, very, very good, but a lot of them are the lower skill level or lack of knowledge when it comes to post work. I thought maybe you could host a weekly or something Darktable chat. I even crazily thought we could do an episode of the podcast live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and take people's talks. Yeah, and chat, live questions, and they can. But who knows? The idea's out there. So if you're interested, I'll send you an invitation to look up. But I thought maybe a good thing for you to do your Darktable content and connections, and could be the Darktable king on Clubhouse.
Yeah. Okay.
So so I've just been. And the things like how to improve your social media stuff, and there's all stuff about SEO. So if someone actually was starting a business and wanted guidance from people in the same field who've done stuff, probably at their own at the same level as them, could be quite a good resource, maybe.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. It's out there for people who want to start to have a bit of a look at. Called Clubhouse.
Cool.
But, so I spent hours just sort of listening to that. So that's been my week. It was a good excuse to lay on the bed, close my eyes, and pretend to be working.
Right.
It's been been yarn eventful.
Right. Nice. Excellent. All right. Well, what do you got on your list to chat about?
So how long have we fluffed for? How long have we been going
25 minutes.
Oh, that's nearly half the podcast, Bruce.
That's right. The podcast can be shorter than an hour. It doesn't have to go that long.
That was the gold right there. We've hit us down. No, we've got some stuff to talk about. I saw that Nikon, or Nikon, depending on where you're from, are closing 2 of their 3 factories that make lenses in Japan.
Wow.
And already announced closure of their camera manufacturing in Japan.
What?
That's being sent to Thailand.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know how much of it's going to be sent to Thailand, because they're looking at a 59% reduction in costs.
Yikes.
something more than just getting someone else to make somebody else's robot or your robot in another country to make it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I thought, kind of interesting. As I said, and I hadn't heard of them talking about them already having announced they weren't going to be making cameras in Japan anymore.
Yeah, right.
Who knows? Interesting. So we're keeping an eye on Nikon quite heavily at the moment.
So at the moment, is all of their manufacturing done in Japan, or is it sort of spread around?
So they already have factories. I don't know how many or how big, I know they do make stuff in Thailand already. So,
right.
In fact, looking at the comments on Peter's Pixels,
Yep.
It says all my Z lenses except the 85 are made in Thailand and are the sharpest of the over 30 Nikons I've owned.
Right.
They just put this really bizarre WIW. That 85mm Z is made in China. That's interesting, isn't it? I think that means for what it works.
No, for what it's worth.
Yep. But come on, it's more fun to make a different tools what the acronym means. Followed. Wow. I don't know. But what contraction of the market? Someone's saying. Still with this story, is it? It is since the days of the D600 and D800 that the US and European market have been disgraced. What's this guy talking about?
What?
They continue to make fun of people about replacements, and then, with the appearance of Sony and the steady sales of Canon, they began to shrink. With the new Z, they have not convinced, and now they have begun to close. First South America, and now 2/3 in Japan. Get out of my mind once and for all. That guy's got some issues.
I think so.
He did bring up, strangely as he is, he did bring up the fact that we announced last year that they weren't doing anything in South America anymore. Nikon, all sales Nikon in South America gone. And remember, we said last week, I think it was the week before, no sales in England because of Brexit, supposedly. Interesting stuff. And there's something to say it, but Nikon is a dead man walking, someone here says. Interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to break into the podcast briefly to mention that we now have a Patreon account. If you get any value at all from our photographic giggle fest each week, we'd really appreciate it if you could spare a couple of bucks a month just to help keep the servers running. The link will be in the show notes. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
I was on Indiegogo earlier.
Yeah.
And I saw a 360 degree doorbell.
Oh, okay.
And I was thinking, but hang on a sec, won't that be seeing the wall?
Yeah.
Behind? But so just no. Still trying to work. No, because it's 180 that way and 180 that way. It's not. Otherwise, it'd be 720 to do a full circle, wouldn't it?
I have no idea.
As a globe, wouldn't it be 720 anyway? But it looks kind of interesting. It can see everything because it's a much wider angle view, a much higher angle view than like a Ring doorbell. It's got a radar, and you can see the distance the radar goes to. So if like cars and stuff goes by, or people walk up and down with their dogs, it won't get triggered because the radar only goes to a certain spot. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I got very confused about it. So if someone can explain the maths of 360 not seeing the wall behind it.
The only thing I can think of, did you have a link for this? Because there's no link in.
No, I didn't bother talking about it. I wasn't even going to mention it, but I pressed the button on my computer. Because
the only thing that I can think of that makes any sense is if you consider that the base of the camera is vertical against the wall and the 360 degrees is looking down at the ground, up the sides and over above it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. But
so it's hemispherical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did see, if someone's got a little bit of spare time on their hand, the Royal Photographic Society has released their journals online for free.
Wow.
All 165 years of it.
Wow.
if you've got a little bit of time on your hands, and you want to read photography from the earliest of days all the way through, and then you can see where Nikon went wrong. That's 165 years of photographic magazine.
I think it'd be worth it just for all the ads.
Fascinating to see the early stuff. It really would. It'd be so cool to, it's flash powder, three for a pound or something, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then just see how the industry changes via advertising. It'd actually be a fascinating thing to go through and make a book just out of the adverts. Yeah, all the way through. Yeah. What else do I? Number ones. What do I write number ones for? Oh, there we go. Olympus are claiming that they have the number one market share in Japan.
Really?
Lens mount sales.
Okay.
Micro Four Thirds, I should say, has Japan's number one market share among all lens mounts.
Wow.
But apparently, there's 56 different companies using Micro Four Thirds, which I was unaware of.
Yeah.
But, and Japan claims a market share of 21.7%, the most of any single lens mount in the. So I guess it kind of makes sense, because if you think about Canon, they've got their crop sensor. They've got their 35mm. They've got their mirrorless. They're all different lens mounts.
Yeah.
They might have more volume, but not on each individual mount.
Not on one particular mount type.
Yeah. On Sony's the same. I guess they've got their APS-C and their 35mm.
Well, it's not so much that, because they have APS-C and 35mm both in E mount, but you still have A mount as well as the new E mount.
They're still considered a different mount, I guess, is where I think it's very cleverly manipulated data by Olympus.
Yes.
To make themselves sound. But kudos. If that's all they can do, that's good. That's pretty good. Yeah. I thought that was a bit interesting. What else do I have? Do I have something else in there? Number one.
You did.
Oh, can't get my thing to open. It's open now. It's okay. Cornflakes. That's right.
Right.
Now, did you know that there's a rumour going around, and I've been trying to verify it tonight. It's very hard to Google this stuff up without getting bombarded with other stuff. But apparently, Dr. Kellogg of Kellogg's fame invented the cornflakes to stop people masturbating.
Right. I think he failed.
He believed that red meat, and strong flavoursome sauces spiced up the blood and got people a little bit more, well, shall we say, interested in looking at themselves a bit more closely. Whereas a bland diet of something like cornflakes would reduce that.
Right.
So this comedian has come out. She started a Kickstarter project of herself pretending to be masturbating next to a bowl of cornflakes, and she's called Cornflakes. And she goes, "I'm desperate, no income, I'm skint. Please, someone buy me a book." And sadly to say, it hasn't been backed. But which is, she only wanted a £500 goal. It's 22 hours to go, so there's time for me and you to back it, Bruce, but no one else.
That's it.
And she's short. But it starts off, "I'm an out-of-work comedian throughout 2020. You could say I've had some times on my hands." Which is pretty clever, comedian. "So when I read that cornflakes were invented to prevent people masturbating, my twisted little mind ran off and did this. I also feel like the images are a strong representation of my year eating cereal while self-isolating." It's kind of funny. And your book is just a series of images, printed images. Look at that.
Well, speaking of isolation, I got an email the other day from Model Mayhem, and I've not been active on Model Mayhem in months, and it was from a model, I'll say model in air quotes, from Prague, suggesting a remote photo shoot.
That's you.
I think she sent this out to like hundreds of photographers. I don't think it was just sent to me. And basically what she was saying was, I've got a really good bedroom and, you know, this flat that she lives in. It's really good. It's got good light, good big windows, blah, blah, blah. She's got a Nikon DSLR of some description. I can't remember the model number. And basically what she was suggesting was that she would set the camera up at the photographer's discretion.
Yeah.
And that she had some piece of software that could allow you to take the photos and you're basically interacting via a Zoom or a Skype video call kind of thing, and she would pose in her flat. I thought, I don't think I'll bother. Sounds way too hard. You've got no idea what kind of lenses she's got. And
because that's the overriding factor, of course, Bruce, isn't it? What kind of lenses she's got.
Well, but just
I think her clientele might not be as fussy as you.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, anyway.
Not amazing. I hadn't even thought of that company in years. It's amazing. Yeah. Pop up and you're forgetting all about them.
The website is still just as awful as it always was. It is atrocious.
I did see whilst I was on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, the amount of people not managing to fulfill their desires to become a photographer by having people back them to buy gear to become a photographer.
Right.
The saddest of them all was this one guy who's desperate to learn more about photography and wanted to do a £30 course on photography, and he had to fundraise for it, and he got nothing. 30 quid. 30 quid.
Well, I got to say, the number of places, you know, teaching institutions, universities, you name it, that have been offering all of their resources pretty much for free for the last 15 months. You'd be crazy to think that anyone's going to give you money so you can go out and buy training.
I think it might have been he had to pay for the internet access to Prague. I'm not sure whether that was the fee that arrived. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He wanted to be educated on remote photography.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for me.
We got an email from Carl Hemmings last week.
We did.
And he said, "Welcome back, Glyn and Bruce. Interesting talk on flash sync. Would you believe my very old, probably 12-year-old, Nikon D40 consumer DSLR could sync at a 500th as well. It's only 6 megapixels, but it's quite good for an 8x10. I occasionally take it out when I really want to travel light and I don't want the bulk of a full-frame body and weight, but want the functionality of a DSLR. Regards, Carl."
And weight for what?
The weight of the camera.
Oh, I thought he was like, I don't want to, and weights. No, I see what you're saying.
And he sent us some photos.
The D70 was the same. So for a period of time, I'm going to say 8-10 years ago, D70s were quite popular on eBay to be bought because of that. So it was like the highest spec version of his camera, and anyone who's getting into strobe stuff, off-camera flash stuff, were looking at buying D70s for that specific reason because nothing else could do it.
Yeah, right.
I haven't seen that for a long time, but something bizarre. I don't think the 40 did it, but the 50 and 70 definitely did it. And why it stopped, I have no idea.
No, well, Carl's saying he's got the D40 and it does do it.
Oh,
and
so the 40, 50, okay, 40, 50 and 70 had it then.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I mean, we're talking that's their entry level. The D70, mind you, the D70 was probably the highest end amateur camera at the time.
Right.
And even quite a lot, because they're expensive back 10 odd years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was, or more. And so that D70 was still quite a desirable camera back in them days. So,
yeah.
But I don't know why they stopped doing it, but it sort of fell over. And I'm sure there's a reason. I just don't know what it is.
I saw a great post today on the Sony Alpha Facebook group. And I'm just scrolling back to see if I can find it right now. It was basically someone said Sony is rumoured to release another 5 cameras in the next 2 months or 2 cameras in the next 5 months or something. And what do you think it'll be, or what would you want? And one guy came back and said an A1 Mark II with 1,000 megapixels and 16K raw capture at 240 frames a second, and it'll only be $1,200. And then he said, just so we can see all these internet experts have something to whinge about how they missed the mark.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So why would the spec it so low as 16K? It'd be 32K at the very least, if not 64K.
Yeah, so it was very funny. Anyway,
my mate Martin in Germany's been out shooting with the A1 this week, so I don't know.
Really?
I haven't seen it. He hasn't been able to post any images except for him holding it.
Right.
But I'm sure he's having a fine old time with it. He was out at night time shooting, so he's obviously trying to check the low light capabilities. But he's had one in his hot little hand all the week. So
nice,
lucky bugger.
I'm sure Mark Gaylor will be getting his hands on one if he hasn't already. So
you should get him on.
Yeah, should. Good. All right, matey. Well, that's it for another week.
How did we go time-wise?
Good enough. 45 minutes.
Some may say too much. Many may say too much. You never know.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's it. I'm done. You're done. We're done. It's done.
That's it.
And next week, if I can, I may be away.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll reach out to Joe and see if Joe wants to step in.
I'll hold on to that one until I'm for sure, because I might be out shooting with this new kit.
Yep.
And I might be away to shoot with it, but I won't know until things arrive, until things firm up. So it might be the week after. So
fair enough.
We'll keep up. Hold on that just in case. Excellent.
All right, mate. We'll talk to you when we talk to you.
You will. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Shutters Inc. Another AudioToYou.com quality podcast. For questions, comments and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.